Hi, Booktube world. This here is definitely before you watch it or so, or if you've seen the previous video. I'm finishing out on the book. I'm gonna call it Safe People because it's such a long title, but it's by these two Christian psychiatrists or psychologists. They psych something, okay? So I finished this book up. I was definitely supposed to be finished for I don't know. I think I've been reading this book here since November, and I read it after watching a review of Living and Loving, and she also has a channel titled Mary Jane, Merry Jane. So I was like, okay, let me take a little to go into this here and see what points it can definitely have as a parable parallel. Already knowing, exactly how the religious, how that go and so forth like that. But before I definitely go into this book here, I'm going to interrupt. I have read 40% of this book here. And my goal was I was going to take a nap after reading one chapter. Because usually I try to read like a chapter a day. And I literally read like 5 chapters of this book here by Tonya Wright. We're from the same... we're from the region, the Bayou region. And so I definitely was reading it to correlate and parallel it with Puzzle Rise. But I know it would be extra complex to parallel and correlate it together. So I'm definitely looking for, those that definitely have read this book and those definitely... that for the project that I am a contributor of, Puzzle Rise, definitely how they correlate it, parallel it, or they may have other books that they put into. But getting back to the book, that's the headline. Topic, I have the notes that I've taken. Hopefully my child hasn't put nothing in my head playing my hair. Safe People is by Dr. Henry Clyde and Dr. John Townsend. This book here is very Christian. It got Bible scriptures, and it has to be taken as I said on the last video from where I had read at the time that I put up that video. I wrote the word parable, but now the way that once I get to the end of the book, the way I feel is like I would say you would have to slash the word parable. Like, don't take it all the way out, but take it with a grain of salt and pepper. You can definitely perpendicular, whatever is a correct reference or word. Would I recommend anyone else to read it? I would say anyone that's between the ages of at least over 19 to 21 that has gotten a little experience of being grown, that knows about church, or that may be curious about how church is or Christian life is. I would encourage you all, then I ain't gonna say I highly encourage you. It's not like the first to read, but definitely it should be on, it should or could be on a list to read. Or, But definitely I would encourage that, the way I feel about this book is that, they have a lot of stuff that's just like too much. But as a psychiatrist, what I have to say that kind of comes about on the scale being from a Christian psych point of view in writing is that it does give responses to manipulators. So it do have that up in there, but toward the end it kind of it depends on who reading the book. And if you already a passive or dense party, like toward the end of the book, it's mainly for those that are, they too extrovert, they too territorial, too much. They're the ones that really need to be reading this here more so. I wouldn't recommend anyone that's passive or dense or, you're not, for the end of the book. So I feel different from the middle of the book, the part I read when I did the last video, toward the end of the book. I do feel kind of different. Like, I feel like, okay, at first I felt, okay, everybody should read it. But then toward the end of the book, I feel it's more for, I guess, mid-level, and those that are extreme manipulators. But they have to go reading it for themselves to be of, to in confession of themselves. So that's what I would mainly, like I say that about the book. That like when you start off and you read to the middle of it, okay, everybody can read, but toward the end, it's. So this is some notes that I have from the book where it speaks about safe people, and it speaks about the difficulty taking risks and connecting with people. And so there's a character named Kate that they spoke about. They spoke about the overprotective parent, and definitely those stories are definitely key. But if they're an overprotective parent, they're gonna feel that it's more for their children to read if they're living that situation. Like if you 40 years old, 50 years old, or even 19 or 21, and you're not being raised to live without the ones that's caring for you, like they got everything set up to where you only could think and move when and how they want you to move, and that's it. Nothing with your own signature or creativity to it. Definitely you need to read this book here. And they speak about the codependency, depression, difficulties with being alone, disorganization, lack of direction, extreme dependency, identity confusion, procrastination. That's the ability to follow through on things. That's why, the thing with me is, and I think it's been with me a long time, but sometimes, you're not perfect. So you may really want to follow through on something, but things just get overloading, and you just gotta let it go. It speaks about resentment, substance abuse, thought problems, obsessive compulsive problems. Ooh, and yeah, they definitely have some dark sided like that. The unbalance of over responsibility and guilt to under responsibility and the victim mentality. So they address all that in this book here. It's a book what I want to remember everything of it. Of course, really, if I had to rate it stars, I wouldn't rate it the top stars because it is directly from a religious point of view, and as being of the disenfranchised bloodline. A lot of that stuff just ain't for our reality. Being us. But now that's a good book for them to read for themselves, and those that are trying to be slave catchers or slave gateway in our community. That book is mainly for them. They need to, because safe people. And it's for those that are victims of characters, as I just mentioned recent. So yeah, it's about for everybody to read, but you have to read it to make sure that you don't get caught in a web, like lost a web, like following it too hard. You have to go in with understanding, hey, I don't want to get too don't know anything as trying to read it. So it has some little quotes up here. I'm trying to definitely write, putting on. It says, when you come up very empty-handed. I wrote this stuff here out, and it's been like several months ago, so I don't even know how I planned to present it several months ago. But of course, things change. But one of the words they used was cardiac flip-flops. Now, I remember I did like that, and I don't even remember everything on it, but the cardiac flip-flop, definitely, if you check out this book here, it speaks that definitely. I have a worship. I remember it was very interesting to read about that. The critics, irresponsibilities and abandoners. So it definitely speaks about, like I say, it does have information for the manipulators too up in there. But exactly as I didn't like the part where it got all this old extra confess little stuff up in there. And you know how some people, because things boring, they just want you to be saying stuff just because they just bored. Two extrovert parties. And then, and let me stop saying but just agitating parties. Just let me put it like that. Agitating folks. And then the irresponsible, it speaks about the irresponsible. They don't consider the consequences of their actions. They not follow through on their commitments, and they have problems with delaying gratifications. And they also have noticed, and also something else about irresponsible is they're good for helping you notice what's going on today instead of being anxious of tomorrow. So that's kind of what connect you with a lot of irresponsible people, because they deal with exactly today, and you know they don't have that. Okay, let's be conscious and move forward with tomorrow in mind as we doing today. That's the thing with a lot of irresponsible people, and with irresponsible parties, you could end up being an enabler and a protector of them, and that's how they still keep what they doing as a culture or a habit. You know, and people have duplicity in them, dishonesty, and self-centeredness. It speak about all that in the book, but that cardiac flip-flop, that definitely was key on it. This video has went to 11 minutes, so definitely, how do I get there? Oh, I'm going to have to learn how to definitely get there and start doing 5-minute reviews, and that's my goal. So hopefully you don't mind and we're able to tolerate these going on 12-minute videos. So till next time, TTYL. Okay. And so do check the other videos, subscribe, like, and reply. And TTYL. I will be doing Much Matter Mondays. That video is coming up next, the Much Matters Mondays. So I'm going to be talking about some topics on there. So just in case, you know, it's gonna be it's gonna be a separate video from this here, because this main one here is like for Booktube and also for my subscribers. So it's a more extra stretch kind of video. So the next video gonna be, you know, at the bottom of the video screen, you know, that title at the bottom. All right, TTY.